it's almost the weekend and we are back
Almost.
with the vibe. Yes, almost. Right, so lots of music, lots of chat, and a wacky car is what we bring to you from Shangri-La. From this very beautiful location, this is my not so beautiful co-host Joe Morrison.
Thank you very much.
That had to happen.
Thank you very much. You shocked me with that. Yeah, it is wonderful. Beautifully as the sun goes down in the background. So we're certainly enjoying it, that's for sure.
Right, and our very special guest for the day is KT Tunstall, a Grammy Award nominated singer who's come all the way from Los Angeles just to perform for all of us here. Katie, thank you for joining us on the show.
My pleasure. It's lovely to be here.
And welcome to Oman.
Thank you. What a beautiful country. I have to say that so many people said to me when I said I was coming that they loved it and it's beautiful and the people are so friendly, and I am experiencing that very well.
The first time?
For sure.
Your first
time ever, yeah.
Your first time in the whole of the Middle
In
East?
the whole region, yeah.
Ah,
And
right.
it's very exciting for me. I mean, I travel so much with what I do, playing shows. So you just feel like a kid going to a country for the first time. It's superb, yeah.
So on cyber stalking you, I found out that you went to the desert.
It
Yes.
was so great. So we went to, let me see if I get this right, Wadi Bani Khalid.
Yes,
Oh,
you are right. Well done.
that's pretty good actually. Have you been practicing that?
We also went to the desert, and I can't quite say that, but it's something. It sounds a bit like Shakira.
Sure,
Yes,
yeah.
yes it is! Yes,
That was the only way I could
One of our
remember.
cameramen here, Dawood, is from Shakira, so you've made his day. That's his home
Well,
village.
I've also never been on a quad bike before, so I'm so glad that I'm still alive to do my show tonight. It's really good.
And you also did meet some of our beloved camels, didn't you?
I did. And the first camel I've ever met, and camels can have a little bit of a reputation for being
Attitude.
a little grumpy.
Yeah.
A little bit of attitude.
The first camel I ever met up close was the most chilled out dude. He sat there, we were patting his head.
Yeah.
Super friendly.
Right, but fun fact, camels hold grudges, so I hope you didn't do
Do
anything.
they remember?
Oh yeah.
didn't
They
know
apparently do a Zinedine Zidane. So like, if they're not happy with you, it's a headbutt when you're
It's
sleeping.
done, you're done, yeah.
You didn't displease them, did you?
I didn't, but the second camel I met, not so friendly. So, but hopefully the first camel will remember how friendly I was, and we'll meet again. That would be nice.
You're here in town obviously for your show tonight, which we'll talk about more in just a second. You live now, as we mentioned earlier, in Los Angeles.
Yes, originally from Scotland, so it's quite a
Right,
Quite a
so
change.
then the next question is why? It's an obvious answer
Yeah.
if you're talking about weather, and of course we're
Yes,
looking at this beautiful
absolutely.
background. Was it the weather? Is that
It was
the reason you
definitely
went?
partly the weather. It's really funny because as a Scottish person, people say, "Oh, you must be really used to the cold," and I'm like, "Well, I'm used to really not liking it. That's how I feel. I'm not built for the cold, for sure." But really, I got to a point with music where I really wanted to try some other things. So I love making records, I love touring, but I was interested in particularly writing for movies. So I wanted to learn how to score for movies, write songs for movies. And Hollywood is quite
It's the capital, isn't it?
It's the capital of it. And basically, you're much more likely to forge those relationships with directors in the film world if you're there. And
Is it a village, Katie?
It's,
Does everyone, if you go to a cafe or a restaurant,
Yeah.
do you meet other people in the industry and, hi, how are
I
you?"
was really pleased to find out that is true, that you can literally be in a coffee shop and you bump into someone who knows someone you know, and they say, "I've got a film next week.
That's how it works, is
I've
it?
got to get the music. You'd be great. Come and do it." And it happens. It's very impulsive, and I really like that compared to Britain, where you have to have a meeting to discuss whether you're going to have a meeting about it. And America is very much like that. And I mean, the other side of it, people can say you're brilliant, you're perfect, and then you never hear from them again.
Yeah.
But there's definitely opportunity of things happening very, very quickly out there. And I also just wanted to sort of a change of life. My life had changed enormously. My father had passed away. My marriage had broken up. I was in need of a new start, really. So the moving continents and deciding to pick a place that was next to the beach was a really, really good plan for me on a personal level.
And it
as
definitely
well.
worked out for you.
It did, and
Yeah.
I've worked on some brilliant movies. I've just done some music for Bad Moms 2, the Christmas movie. So if you haven't seen Bad Moms, hilarious. Very, very good film.
Right, so that comes to genres. So you don't really have a particular genre that you work for, right?
Thank you. It's something I've really tried to avoid, was getting boxed in. So it's lovely for me to hear you say that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. So what is your favorite genre though when you want to work?
If I had to choose, in terms of making work,
Yeah.
it would have to be rock. I love the sound of a guitar that makes you, an electric guitar that makes you just want to lose yourself. You know, the sound of, what's a good example? Like listening to Led Zeppelin, when you hear some of those Jimmy Page riffs, they make you feel like, they make you feel personal power, I think, when you listen to music like that.
Right, so how
And
many
it's-
instruments do you play? I'm sorry to cut you off.
No,
there.
it's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
So I started learning piano classically. I wasn't very good at it. And then I think I was just not very good at lessons. I'm good at playing things. I'm not very good at being told.
Did you
what
get
to do.
rapped on the knuckles with a ruler
I
when you played
definitely
the
got
piano?
got the threat of it. And then I learned flute. So I
The
learned
flute?
to play classical flute. I then taught myself guitar and
Okay.
to sing. So I didn't have any lessons there, which I think was great because I just found my own way.
Did you have an influence though? Like, you're not from a musical family,
No,
are you?
not at
So
all.
where did you? Because normally an artist, they get
Yeah.
it from either parents or brothers or
Yeah,
sisters or
for
even
sure.
even friends. So where did?
It was really coming. So music for me was coming from a place of wanting to play instruments. I just had a very innate compulsion to want to learn to play. So my music teacher at school played piano, and I was
Right.
like, whoa, I want to learn how to play that. And then when I was around 15 or 16, I started writing my own songs. I started writing on piano, and it was the cheesiest stuff you've ever heard. So I moved over to guitar.
Better than chopsticks.
Yeah, exactly. Moved over to guitar. Then I learned a bit of drums, so I play a bit of drums. I can pretty much get a decent noise out of anything I try, as long as it's not a violin. I can't. haven't gone over to the stringed classical instruments.
Right.
That's next
so-
on the list.
Yeah, exactly.
So out of all these instruments, do you have this one instrument that nobody is allowed to touch? It's very special to you.
I kind of do.
Yeah.
Actually, I won. I was very lucky to win Female of the Year at the Brit Awards.
Yes.
In 2006, I think.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It was a really wonderful moment. Partly because my parents were there and realised that I wasn't a loser anymore. And I actually had a job.
We've all been there. We've all been
And I'm
there,
on the
Katie.
stage just going, see?
Why don't you become a doctor?
Yeah,
Why don't
exactly.
you
We
become a
thought
lawyer?
you'd be a teacher. And for the performance on the show, the record label said to me, right, we've got to do something really fantastic. What do you want to do? And I was like, okay, let's make it look like people are watching black and white TV. So I want everything black and white. Black and white tap dancers, black and white staircases, black and white instruments. And I said to my guitar tech, what's the coolest white guitar? And he said, white Gretsch Falcon, hands down. So the Gretsch Falcon is what's called semi-acoustic. So it's an electric guitar, but it's hollow. So it's
Right.
got those lovely F holes in the body. It's the guitar that Neil Young plays.
All right.
So I
Okay.
don't need to say any more.
Yeah.
Beautiful guitar. It's huge. So they hired one for me, a vintage one, and I put it on, and I mean, I'm dwarfed, you know. I said to the band, does this look really big on me? And they were like, yeah! I was like, okay, cool, let's do it. And I'd won the award. The record label knew I was going to win. I didn't know I was going to win, so they'd organized this party. I went to the party. Afterwards, they said, okay, Katie, we've got something for you. Just wait there, and we've got another surprise for you. They give me this guitar
Really?
Oh.
that I thought they just hired. It was born the same year as me, 1975. Amazing guitar.
And how much was it worth?
I wouldn't like to say, but you can Google it. It's basically like a £10,000 guitar.
Right. Okay.
It's they're not so.
It's increased in value because you've played
Well,
it,
that's
Katie. now.
it.
So
Basically, I
it's
can
now
buy a rubbish
100,000.
guitar, play it once, and then sell it on eBay for an extra
Get a
£5.
guitar. Get
It's
a guitar.
amazing.
Somebody get me a guitar.
We can make
can
at
sell that
least
hat right now.
£7.50 after one show. But it's a really, it's the one thing I would grab if the house was on fire. And
Yeah.
and it's hard because some musicians don't want to play vintage instruments on the road because, you know, they might get stolen, they might
Yeah.
get damaged. I just think you've got to just love that instrument and have it for the time that you have it, and it's a gift. And it's too sad to leave something like that sitting around not making any noise. So
Right.
it comes everywhere with me.
We're in this beautiful location, as you can see behind us, at the Shangri-La here in Oman. You've performed all over the world.
Yeah.
But if you had to pick one place that you thought, wow, that was spectacular. Actually, I'll give you two. One where you thought the vibe was amazing.
Yeah.
The vibe.
The vibe.
The vibe.
One where you thought the vibe was amazing, and another where actually visually it was spectacular.
I think
where would you
visually
choose?
most spectacular was probably the Minack Theatre in Cornwall, which is in the
Oh, right,
southwest of Britain. And seeing as I've been all over the world, it's quite, it's
Yeah,
quite
yeah.
a list of places. But it was, it's an amphitheatre of stone built on the side of a cliff by a 70-year-old woman.
Oh, wow.
She spent her
Really?
whole life hand carving a stone theatre. So you basically sit on these terrace theatres. And they do a lot
Carved
of
out the rock.
carved out of the rock, and they do a lot of Shakespeare there.
Oh, wow.
And it's this little round theatre, and there's nothing behind it. It's just the sea
Did you meet the
and
woman?
the sunset. I think she's passed away now,
Oh.
but it was her life work.
Yeah.
So that was an extremely
Visually, that was
visually
yeah.
stunning place to play. For vibe,
Glastonbury or something like that. Would you say?
I would say it would be a tie, and they're actually both British as well, but Glastonbury Festival, which you can't beat. But to be honest, I kind of prefer being a punter at Glastonbury. I'm just as happy watching
Yeah,
something
yeah.
else is playing. But the Albert Hall in London
yeah, yeah.
is, the Royal Albert Hall
Very
is
iconic.
a really incredible space because it's formal, but it's so vibey, everyone overcomes it and just loses their inhibitions. So you have this theatre atmosphere, but everyone behaving like they're at a rock show. It's everyone's shouting and screaming, and it's a beautiful experience to play in the Albert Hall.
Right, so Katie, you've done again a lot of concerts across the world,
Yeah.
and you've also done a lot of music videos, which are
Yeah.
really entertaining.
Yeah.
I love watching your videos.
It's
So-
hilarious doing music videos.
Totally. So if you had to choose between the two, what would you prefer?
Between videos,
Concerts and music videos. What do you
Oh.
like more?
I would have to choose concerts because the reason that I love what I do is that connection that you make between yourself and the crowd. And it might be a rainy evening on a Wednesday and all of these hundreds or thousands of people have come, and you leave with all of us, me included, smiling and
You can feel
feeling-
that energy.
Yeah, and you feel you're offering a state of joy for people.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and that's why I love what I do. But videos are one of the most hilarious parts of my job, where people kind of bid to do your video for you, and you get these they're called treatments, which is ideas of
Yeah.
what you're going to do. And it starts with like, Katie is an international ski jumper. Katie is a dancer in many different kinds of, and I'm like, no, I'm not at all. And then Katie is a rally car driver, and I'm like, yeah.
I wish.
So you get to live out these ridiculous fantasies of things that you've always wanted to try. So it's a
Right.
lot of fun. It's actually really hard work making music videos too, though.
Yeah.
Long
So,
days, yeah.
Yeah,
early
you're probably going to
starts
be
and-
doing like 16, 17 hours, and you've got to look good.
Yeah.
But you
So-
also direct your music videos, right?
I have started to direct,
Yeah?
which I've really
Ah.
enjoyed, because I think once you've done it many times, you start to have an understanding
Yeah.
of how they're made and what's possible. And the recent video I directed called "It Took Me So Long to Get Here, But Here I Am," I just had this vision of the whole song being acted out with props and a real kind of style of how I saw it. And
Yeah.
it's really rewarding to I guess with filmmaking in general, of just to see something, a vision in your mind, and then see it actually come to life.
So that's
Right.
behind the camera, obviously.
Yeah,
You know when you do
I
your
had to be behind it and in front of it, and that was quite hard actually.
right.
How do
It
you
was-
do that, behind and front?
I had what's called a first AD, which is an assistant
Yeah.
director, so they know exactly what you're trying to achieve
Right.
throughout the day with each scene.
So it's not like you perform, go behind the camera and
I
go,
do that.
Katie, you're amazing.
Yeah,
However,
I
you.
know. Yeah, I'm like blah blah blah. I'm like, Katie, a bit more effort, please.
But when you're doing the movie music scores, have you ever had a cameo in those movies? Is that part of the deal? How does that work?
No, so far it's been a very separate
Right.
venture, and I think that in terms of establishing myself as a film score writer or a songwriter for film, it's quite important to have that separation.
Right.
To just make sure that relationship exists without being a pop star.
So you never say, yep, I'll do your movie, but I want to be in it.
Well, there'll definitely be occasions where I would love to have that happen, and I would ask. So far, and often actually, the music is added after the film's finished.
Right, okay.
So the director will then sort of have a finished piece and then talk to the composer about what they want, or the song comes once it's done. So that opportunity is passed. But sometimes, and it's lovely when it happens, the music and the composer or the songwriter is included at the inception of the film.
Oh,
which is a really lovely way of doing it, because then the music really is part of the growth of the whole project. But
because everyone's talking about Baby Driver at the moment, aren't
Yeah.
they? How the film was literally filmed to the music, wasn't it? The music was the starting point.
It's choreography, that film, really. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. And I think another movie like Guardians of the Galaxy, it's so augmented.
I haven't seen it myself, Katie.
It's so good.
Just haven't got the time.
But it's films where the music really is a character
Yeah.
in the film. It becomes a very important part of that film.
And where does Devil Wears Prada fit into all of that? I mean, how?
So yeah,
I
it was
guess
a
you
game
don't. I guess you
changer.
don't know, do you?
The game, it was a game changer for me, and that was an instance where it's called the music supervisor. So the music supervisor on a movie is the person who chooses the songs that they use, and often it's existing pieces of music that they will use in a film. And in that case, I just got the call from my manager saying they've got in touch, they want to use the song. And it was a very unusual situation where they used the entire song with no edits, and there was no dialogue over the top of the song.
Yeah.
So, and it was the opening of a Meryl Streep movie.
Yeah.
So it was just, and Anne Hathaway, who I love. And so it was, I remember my manager saying, enjoy this, because it's probably not going to happen again. It's very rare for that to happen. And it was just this key that opened the doors to so many opportunities for me, because the movie was a huge smash success.
Yeah.
So
But was that the first movie that used your song?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The TV shows had used the songs. Grey's Anatomy, Ugly Betty, had an American Idol, and
But not the same impact.
not
quite the same
Not
impact.
the same global impact. After Devil Wears Prada, because Japan loved their fashion, suddenly I was gigging in Japan and doing 9-page fashion spreads in Rolling Stone. I was like, wow. So it was really an amazing thing that happened.
Right, so again, concerts, out of all the concerts you've done, I'm sure you've had a lot of interesting experiences.
Yeah.
Katie's
So
playing
if you had
tonight,
to-
by the way,
Yes.
here
Yes,
at the Shangri-La.
at the Shangri-La.
And the timing is perfect, because as you'll testify here, the weather has just turned in the last couple of days and the
lovely.
temperature is gorgeous. Sorry, carry on.
Yes, so which is probably the most embarrassing or the most funny experience you've had while doing a concert?
I remember when I first played my big showcase in London, and I just got my record deal, and the record had done, well, actually no, I'd got the record deal before, and the record had just come out. Took ages to get the record out. And it was a press event, so lots of people were there reviewing it and talking about me being a new artist. It was the ICA in London, and it's probably about 250 people, so it was a big deal for me. I just started. I'm playing with the band. I played the second song, which was a song called Miniature Disasters, ironically. And I hit a chord, and suddenly my right hand goes a little numb. And what had happened was I'd broken a string, and the way that the strings are wound, it's a one piece of steel, and then there's a copper cord wrapped around it. So when you break a string, you often pull the string away. It's still attached, and it goes and unwinds. And I'd done that, and as I'd done that, the string had double backed and completely skewered me through the pinky. And it was so fast, I hadn't realized what happened, and I was like, what? Something feels weird. And I looked down, and I was attached to my guitar.
Blood and everything.
Blood and everything. And I stopped, and I was like, guys, just gonna have to stop for a second, because I've been attacked by my own guitar. And the only thing I could do was just pull it out really quickly, and I was like, this is so gross. Pulled it out, it just went with blood, and then my bassist went into the crowd to find a Band-Aid, and I was like, that's like real Band-Aid when your band comes to your aid.
Oh, very good.
It was kind of a little overwhelming.
Yeah, but again, your band. Tell me more about your band. I'm so interested to know. So it's
Oh, well, my band tonight is
Do they travel with you?
They're entirely Asian. They're
Right.
all
Oh.
from Taiwan and China. They all fit into little boxes, and I bought them all off the internet. And they're amazing. So I play solo this evening. So a lot
Yeah.
of my shows I play solo, but I'm quite well known for using a loop pedal. And it means that everything basically anything I record in the loop pedal is played back. So I do a beat on the guitar and that then plays back. I do some backing vocals, I do percussion, I do other sounds, and I basically build the whole track using my loop.
Right. Okay.
So you do have a different set of guys in your band for different tours, yeah?
So usually with the festival shows in the summer, I'll take a band, and I took my drummer Danny from LA, my keyboard player Hanako, who's Japanese from London, and Reg, who's a Welshman. So it's like a
An
totally
eclectic
international
mix, yeah.
band.
A real
but
eclectic mix.
really, I only use a band for the summer festival shows, and the rest of the time I'm playing solo. My fans tend to really enjoy the solo show because it's very intimate, and I chat to them, and I can change the songs easily. But I love playing with a band because I love the volume. The wall of noise is really fun.
And you're with your band tonight. We're out of time.
With my little electronic
Yes.
band tonight.
KT Tunstall here at the wonderful Shangri-La.
And the wonderful KT Tunstall, of course.
Yeah, in this beautiful backdrop. I think you're playing on Turtle Beach, is that right? I'm not sure.
I have no idea. I just go
yeah,
where they tell me.
Yeah, I think
don't know.
I think it's on where the turtles are. So
Yeah,
the turtles will be watching
fantastic.
you tonight at the very least, Katie. It's been an absolute joy. Thank you very
so
much.
much.
Thank you for being
joining
with us, KT.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Such a
Lovely to be
pleasure.
here.
Yes, don't go far. We'll be back in a short while with the King of Drift.